You're listening to the Morning Wake Up Call on 88.7 FM WRHU. I'm Bradley Clarke, and I'm joined on the phone with a man who takes the term history buff to new heights. He is a television host and celebrated author who recently released a new book called I Am Jim Henson as part of his Ordinary People Change the World children's book series. This is Brad Meltzer. Brad, thank you so much for joining me on the program.
Thanks for having me.
I want to start off by asking, where did your fascination for history first start?
You know, I think I got to blame a teacher in high school. A woman named Ellen Sherman was my history teacher, and one of the days in 11th grade, she wheeled in a movie, a TV screen into the class. And you know what happens when the teacher rolls in a TV screen, you're like, awesome, movie day, you don't got to do any work. And the movie that she put on, of all things, wasn't like some boring history movie. She put on a movie that was about the JFK murder and assassination. And it wasn't one of those like kooky movies where, it blames it on, everyone did it and it was, everyone from LBJ to FDR had a hand in it. It was one of those ones that really asked the questions that need to be asked about JFK, which is, how does Jack Ruby get past an entire police station full of cops? How does Lee Harvey Oswald spend all that time in Russia, our greatest enemy at the time, and no one knows anything about it? Those are the logical questions. And I remember as I watched it, it was like the foundations of my brain were being kicked because it was suddenly like, oh, this is the real history. It's not always written in the history books the way it is. And I just owe her forever for that.
Well, that's so great. That's a great story to tell, too, that's how you started out in a classroom.
Yeah, teacher. That's it, man. Always teachers. Teachers are the best.
So your new book, I Am Jim Henson, part of your Ordinary People Change the World series, you've written a few of these from Amelia Earhart to George Washington, Jackie Robinson. How do you decide which people to write a book about?
This series started because I was tired of my own kids looking at reality TV show stars and people who are famous for being famous. And I was like, I just have better heroes for them. And so we started with Amelia Earhart and Abraham Lincoln because I felt like they had that moral thing I wanted my own kids to have. The books are not just about history. They're illustrated kids' books. And if I tell my daughter that Amelia Earhart flew across the Atlantic Ocean, my daughter's like, big deal, Dad, everyone flies across the Atlantic today. She's not impressed. But if I tell my daughter, and this is true, when Amelia Earhart was 7 years old, she built a homemade roller coaster in her backyard, and she shoved it to the roof of her tool shed. She put 2 roller skating wheels on the bottom of a little wooden cart. And then she came, off the roof and came careening down the side. My daughter's like, she crashes through the air. My daughter's like, ma'am, Amelia Earhart, she's bold and she's daring. And most of all, she's fun. And now Amelia Earhart is alive again. And so each book is about some moral thing I want my kids to have. For Amelia Earhart, it's that, it says on the back, I will know no bounds. On the back of Abraham Lincoln, it says, I will speak my mind and speak for others. We did I Am Lucille Ball because I wanted my daughter to have a female entertainment hero who wasn't just famous for being thin and pretty. Lucy stands for the idea it's not just okay to be different, it's fantastic to be different. And my son, who loves sports, I picked for him, I'm like, scoring points in a game doesn't matter. That doesn't make you a hero. That just makes you good at sports. But I gave him Jackie Robinson. I was like, here's a hero. And to write to the newest one for I Am Jim Henson, I picked him because my youngest son is a dreamer. He's the creative one. And like me, he just grew up liking to create things and, draw and make pictures. And when I was 5 years old, Jim Henson taught me, when I watched Sesame Street,
Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
That you could use your creativity to put good in this world. And that's all I was trying to do here, is teach my own son that you could use your creativity to somehow put good into this world. And that's how I pick them. I pick what I want for my own kids.
Well, that's fantastic. Actually, I watched your YouTube channel, and I saw that at the University of Michigan, you had a talent show, and you did a skit with Pippi and Poopy Puppet. Did that have any factor into choosing Jim Henson?
Oh, man, I can't believe you even found that old thing. Yeah, so when I was 21 years old, there was a talent show in Michigan, and the great thing was I had no talent. The first part in the show was you had to be, there were like, let's say 50 to 100 contestants. You had to be your favorite hero. And I knew what my hero was going to be because heroes were easier for me. So I was Spider-Man. I built a Velcro wall and put a Velcro suit on. I jumped off a trampoline. I stuck to the wall.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can.
And I knew that was going to get me to the talent round because the place went bananas when I stuck to a wall. But I had no talent. And so my friends, they're actually professional comedians now, the Sklar brothers, they actually helped me write this entire puppet show, and I literally did a sock puppet bit just with them, and that wound up being my talent. I actually wound up winning the talent show, and all the people that I was up against was like a classic pianist and all these amazing talents, and the truth was, they were like, I can't believe I just lost to a guy who's doing hand puppets.
I want to introduce you to two close personal friends of mine, Pippi and Poopy, the puppets.
See, but that's talent. That's pure, raw talent. Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
I'm talking to Brad Meltzer, the man who literally repeats history through his books and television programs. So, when you were writing I Am Jim Henson, how many times did you listen to The Rainbow Connection?
Listen, baby, I still listen to the Rainbow Connection
Me
regularly.
too. I love the Rainbow Connection.
You play those first couple notes on that banjo, and I'm 7 years old again. And it's just how it is, right? It's like it's the Rainbow Connection. And every time I hear it, when I was on book tour for I Am Jim Henson, I remember going on this like really serious show on like a conservative network that, you would think is going to just be like, rah, 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 like, what are you doing here? And this guy who's interviewing me is like this very serious looking guy who looks like he's come out of central casting of like the Republican National Committee, if you had to cast for that. And the guy leans over to me right before the red light goes on the camera as we go live on camera. And he says, you want to hear my Kermit?
Kermit the Frog here.
And in that moment, right, what's so great is that whatever side of the political aisle you're on, wherever you're from, like we all know that Kermit the Frog and Ernie and Bert and Oscar the Grouch and Grover stand for something that we can all kind of get behind.
And of course,
boy, do we need that today.
The famous line, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
Someday we'll find it, the Rainbow Connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
That's a powerful line.
For sure, all of us under its spell.
Do you have a favorite Muppet?
I mean, listen, I love Kermit the Frog. That's like the easy answer. It's kind of saying like Superman,
Right.
Batman for your favorite hero. And that's fine. That's a gimme. And I love Kermit. But for me, I honestly think my favorite is Ernie. And it's for a silly reason. Ernie, his laugh was like my mother's laugh. My mom passed away years ago, but that laugh was how my mom laughed. My dad used to make fun of me, like, here goes Ernie laughing away. And there's something about Ernie that now just isn't just my childhood because I was young, but it's also my mom. And I just always love Ernie for that.
I think my favorite are Statler and Waldorf, the ones in the balcony.
Well, every week this show looks better to me.
Every week your eyesight gets worse.
Love them.
Yeah, well, you're telling me I love them. That's how we opened the book. We stole the best joke from the Muppet movie. When you read I Am Jim Henson, the opening page says, I like this book so far. And then Waldorf says, it hasn't started yet. And he goes, that's what I like about it. Best joke.
So speaking of the Lucille Ball book that you mentioned before, you actually had former First Lady Barbara Bush read I Am Lucille Ball for one of your Storytime with Brad Meltzer YouTube videos. What was it like having Mrs. Bush read one of your books?
It was bananas. It's exactly what it looked like there. I mean, we literally recreated the I Love Lucy chocolate conveyor belt scene.
That's right.
In President Bush's office.
Ready, Mrs. Bush? Eat all the chocolate with me. Here we go. Together. Let's do it.
I'm dressed in full drag as Lucille Ball. Barbara Bush, former First Lady, is reading my own book next to me, and I'm eating 5,000 chocolates at lightning speed. Speed it up a little! It was the most surreal bananas day of my life. And one thing that I learned after when it was done is we did it all in one take. I was on this huge sugar rush because I ate 1,000 chocolates. And I was like, what do you want to do now? I'm like, I can go lift a car.
There's so much chocolate in my mouth, you have no idea.
Yes, I do.
You've done this
It's
before?
gross. No.
Oh.
But it was fantastic. It was bananas.
You should have asked her to recreate the Vita Vita Vegemin scene.
Yes, with Vitamita Vegemin, you can spoon your way to health.
I agree. That would have been that should be our next one.
You're tuned in to the Morning Wake Up Call on 88.7 FM WRHU. I'm Bradley Clarke, and I'm talking to History Channel host and author Brad Meltzer. Are there any, I know you have I Am Gandhi and I Am Sacagawea coming out soon. Are there any other figures that you're looking forward to writing about?
There's a ton. I mean, I still want to do, my number one is I want to do Mr. Rogers.
Please won't you be my neighbor?
I want to do Harriet Tubman. I want to do Nelson Mandela. I want to, there's so many out. The beautiful part of it, there's so many great heroes. I want to do Billie Jean King, and I would love to do Bill Gates and, modern ones like that. So the nice part is there's so many to choose from.
Well, I think one day you should write your autobiography as I Am Brad Meltzer and make it part of the series.
you're a sweetheart, but I could never do that. That would be like a total ego move. You got to have like someone else do that one for me.
Well, I love your television shows on the History Channel, and especially your one on H2, which is called Brad Meltzer's Lost History. And this is one of the coolest stories I've ever heard, that your episode about the 9/11 flag that went missing, it actually turned up because of that episode. Did you actually think someone would find the flag by watching your episode?
You know, I write mysteries and thrillers for a living, and people know me most for those, like The House of Secrets and books like that. But if I ever wrote this story in one of my books, my editor would say, no one will believe this.
What happened to our real Ground Zero flag?
Now, I went to the History Channel. I said, I want to do a TV show where I go and tell the stories of missing artifacts, and we're going to ask people to help them bring them back to us. And they said to me right there, are you going to find something? And I said, yes. I said, we'll tell you, I don't know what we're going to find, but we're going to find something because America's going to surprise us. They're going to go raid their attics. They're going to surprise us. And I never, ever thought in a million years that it was going to be the number one item we wanted, the famous flag from Ground Zero on 9/11 that the firefighters raised. And the fact that we did find it still to this day, I can't believe we found it.
When you call for help, people answer. That's how this flag was raised. That's how this flag was found.
You also had the show Decoded on the History Channel.
This is Decoded.
And I still remember the first time I saw the show. It was the D.B. Cooper episode. And after I watched it, I was immediately hooked, and I watched every episode thereafter. So thank you for those memories of watching your program.
That's my wife's favorite episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you still keep in contact with your crew from Decoded?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Buddy McKinley and Scott. Love speaking to him. I just saw Scott in Maryland a couple months, maybe almost 6 months ago. Buddy, I was emailing last month. Of course, we went through a lot together. So, yeah, they're part of my lives forever.
Everybody listening, don't adjust your radios. You are hearing two Brads right now, as I'm speaking with Brad Meltzer, a man who can combine history and mystery perfectly. What do you think about the movie National Treasure? I've always wanted to ask you this.
Listen, I just want it to be played by me. I mean, that's the fun.
Yes.
Oh, I'll tell you, here's the greatest part of the movie National Treasure. Ready?
Yeah.
Is if you go to the National Archives today, the number one question that is asked of the security guys is there really a map on the back of the Declaration of Independence?
I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Now, of course there isn't. Aww. But here's what is on the Declaration of Independence. And look at this next time you go to the National Archives.
I will.
It is a handprint on the bottom right-hand corner. There's an actual handprint.
Ooh.
No one knows where the handprint came from. No one knows who it belongs to. Ooh. But it's really there. And when you go there, you can tell them I sent you.
I will, definitely. You're so knowledgeable about all this stuff. You should go on Celebrity Jeopardy.
This is Celebrity Jeopardy!
You know, I would love to go on Celebrity Jeopardy, but I have so much useless information in my head. It would be nice to put it to some kind of good cause.
That's right. That's the perfect show for you. I'm telling you, you should go on that show.
I appreciate it.
Well, Brad, I want to thank you so much for all of the historical knowledge you've given me over the years, and thank you once again for coming on the program and speaking with me.
Thank you so much for doing it, and thanks for the support in the TV show and the kids' books and the thrillers, too. It really means a lot. House of Secrets just came out in paperback, so we can tell you that one, too.
Well, my pleasure. And you never know, maybe one day I'll be your next book in the Ordinary People Change the World series.
I would love nothing for it, man. Just remind me, I would love that.
I am Bradley Clarke. Remember that.
Okay, make it happen, baby.
Yes, thank you. All right, Brad, thanks so much.
Thank you.